What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Someone's PC. I'm here with Chris Taporco, fellow Someone's PC member, who did decent so far at Cities. Fred Hoban and Daniel Watt, the originators and pioneers of the Octillery Gallade deck that I've been using and you two have been using, even though Fred hasn't gone to many cities. You guys have been using a little bit over the past month. And yeah, after like what? I think I got 50 messages in my inbox, 10 or 12 from people who don't even like spell my name correctly. They add like E's in the end and shit, or they don't even speak English, asking for it, or like sending me their deck list. And they're like, "Oh, what can you change?" Well, here it is. This is the original list that Daniel used to take first place, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. At whatever cities he won, because we never talked about the actual city, or like where?
PA? Yeah.
Dino, PA.
Oh, beast. All right. So, how's your guys' day? Just to start things off. Good. Everyone's chilling.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good week.
Today.
Nice. Good weekend.
Yeah.
Or like in terms of city this weekend, how'd you all do?
I went to one city this weekend and just the dead draws just caught me. That was it. That was it. There's not much more to say.
Using this deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred, same thing.
Yeah, the first two rounds, just kind of. First round it was like draw, and I like hit a card just to survive for the next turn for like 5 turns, and then eventually I just lost. And then game 2 was actually a really good game, but after that it was just kind of like the day's over, you know.
Yeah, I gotcha. Like you play through the rounds, but it's not as fun because you don't even have a competitive vibe. You feel like it's already dead.
Yeah, you play Mega T-Tar like round 3, and you're like, oh, what the hell am I doing here?
Chris, how'd you do?
I did fine. Beat you though.
Yeah, Chris beat me round 1 on Saturday, and then I went on to savage the rest of the tournament.
You got there because
I didn't draw Bridget against him, but we threw Bridget against everyone else, and they lost savagely.
Sorry, also Russ needed me to get into that top 8.
Yeah, we go into the final round, and we know one X11's gonna miss, and since I lost to Chris, he's playing against someone who's also X1, who they lost to. So basically, it's a battle between Chris and his opponent, and whoever wins takes a top 8 spot. So it was me or this other dude sitting next to me, and the whole time Chris was misplaying like a dumbass, and then he finally got there.
It happens.
It was so funny. He thought his circle circuit hit for 180 because he had a full bench, and he was just like circle circuit knockout. His opponent's like, you're down by 10, and I'm in the corner like, damn it, Chris, why did I lose to you? Come on, man, you got this.
I put in a lot of work that turn too.
It was Raichu Bats versus Mewtwo. That shit is so free. So free. Mewtwo Yveltal XY. There's no damage swap.
Oh
yeah.
It's a Veltal. Like he can't even swing with the Oblivion Wing. He'll just get bought by a circle circuit. Yeah, it was good. So, getting into the list, it plays 1 Halusha, 4/1/4 Gallade. I think originally it had two Halucha in the list, and we brought this down for the sake of, I felt like we only needed 1. Do you guys agree? Or
you attack with it enough to justify 2.
Yeah, even with the Focus Sash, like even when you party with it with the Focus Sash, you want to super rot it back in. I feel like that's the only time you'll.
It's just real nice as a free retreater. Like when you start it, you're just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good game, you know?
Yeah. So, a 4/1/4 Gallade, which is different than everyone else playing Maxis with Yveltal or a Manectric variants or other things to get out like the Gallade that way, and then choose Premonition and playing a lot of weird cards. The 1 Jirachi, just to answer Toad, Giratina, silly decks, even the Mirror Mat sometimes. When someone's like hitting you with Gallade and you take off their DCE, and they had to discard the like other 2 DCEs from turn 1 or 2 to try and hit their maxis. That happened a lot against me. People suck. Shit's so funny. It's like, oh, I want this maxi so bad, and I was like, oh, I bet you do. And I see two DCEs hit the discard. I just high five my opponent. I was like, hey, guess who lost? Yeah.
Yeah, Night March Vespiquen too. Just get yourself an extra turn to set up with the Jirachi, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. At a certain point, you can just start counting DCEs in your opponent's discard. And if Jirachi's still on board, you're not going to take 6 prizes against this deck.
Especially Toad Tina. You just laugh at him.
Oh, yeah. Easy peasy. It plays a 2/2 Octillery. I think at some point I wanted a 3/2. I know Mike Fouché played a 3/2 line because he said if you prized one Remoraid and had 2 Octillery in your deck, he felt like the one Lysander, if his opponent played like somewhat intelligently, could knock him out of the game until he drew Super Rod. And so a 3/2 was really considered at that point. I drew some hands with a 3/3, and I noticed it was really, really too much. Like I'd make like one Octillery, and even if I made the second one, I'd just have like this empty Octillery in my hand the rest of the game until I can discard it away with Ultra Ball. So a 2/2 felt perfect. A 3/2 is if you need like a little insurance. If you're the type of person who wants to play like, you know, super, super consistent, and you're so scared of prizing 2 Remoraid that you need to play a third one, then that's what's good there. But yeah, if you don't know what the cards do, Premonition, like the top 5 cards of your deck, sort in any order, and put them right back on, and then Abyss Hand draws you until you have 5 cards in your hand. So you essentially stack your deck after you set up the combo, hopefully on turn 2, usually by turn 3, and if by turn 3 you don't hit it, more likely you're getting whooped. So that's the premise of the deck. Plays 1 Enhanced Hammer, same thing. Giratina is usually the main culprit. Sometimes your opponents are stupid and they play DC down on turn 1, and if your hand already has like a Level Ball and a Karina and you have full setup off of a Bridget, you can go Karina for Enhanced Hammer and put your opponent down one of their 4 special energies of their deck. I think you guys ran the original list, so we're giving you guys the original list, and they ran an Escape Rope, which we all swapped out into a Float Stone.
It was that Escape Rope because we were like definitely scared of Jirachi. We're like, yo, Jirachi's gonna kill us, blah 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 blah. Escape Rope Lysander, but Jirachi doesn't see enough play.
Yeah, did you guys ever run into a problem with it? Like, my opponents would Jirachi me sometimes, but I'd see it coming like so far ahead. Mainly because I feel like I'm always the one taking like the revenge hits. Like, they're always taking the first prize knockout, and then I come up with the Gallade to hit. And then they Ultra Ball for Jirachi the previous turn or the following turn, and then just immediately answer it. And then I just start playing the prize game with Shaman on the bench, and then Target Whistle, Shaman Lysander. So I know I don't fear Jirachi. I did in theory, but when I actually saw like the application of it, I hit double fighting energy like it was free.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, one turn of not attacking, so be it, and it's attached to a bench Gallade and pass.
Yeah,
so.
the fighting energy made like anything that like hinders special energy so much more easier. Like, I didn't see the problem at all with Jirachi at all either.
Yeah.
Because you can hit 2 fighting realistically off like Premonition.
So.
Yep.
Easy peasy. And the Abyssal Hand. And you can attach the fighting to a Ralt, which is where let me scroll down. There's 5 fighting and 4 DCE, just in case you guys are getting pissed off you can't see the full list. So some people originally sent me the list with like strong energy in it. And since they're playing 4 strong, 4 DCE, and then like 1 or 2 fighting, they couldn't fit Jirachi in their own list, and they were getting bodied by Toad or Giratina. And I was like, it's not how you need to build the deck. And Fred actually told me that the day of when we originally started talking, you were like, you can just 2-hit everything. There's really no need to force like Fighting Stadium and strong energy into the deck, which I felt like was okay. Mainly because I talked the deck over with Chris, and I was like, yeah, I'm used to 2-hitting things. And if you can Lysander and one-shot a Shaman, then that's essentially all you need to do in standard metagame. But after I actually piloted the deck, I was like, yeah, this is 100% unnecessary to play Fighting Stadium. Unless you're trying to KO a Yveltal EX. And at that point, like they're already trading 2 prizes for 1. And they have to have a pretty big Yveltal EX to Evil Ball it away, so it was fun.
Yeah. The only time you really want the damage modifiers is when you're facing Crobat or Baby Yveltal and you got to get around the resistance.
Yeah.
That's when it can, or Articuno, I think we resisted too. And that's why we have the 1 Muscle Band in there. Real clutch, just one-shot the non-EXs.
And then the originalists had the 1 Giovanni's, which could also do
exactly.
things like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like other than that, it wouldn't really help.
The strong energy makes sense, but we saw Giratina area, and our friend like Alex was like, "Yeah, I watched you just get bopped by Giratina. Like, just make it 2-hit everything.
Yeah,
like, take out those special energy, you'll be alright. Like, yeah, and it makes more sense."
And a lot of times you'll have like only strong energy in your hand turn one, and you've only got these Raltses down that you can't attach the strong energy to,
Yeah,
and it's it's better to just have the fighting, get it down.
definitely. That's yeah, 100%. I feel like Strong is not needed. The best part of the deck, 4 level ball.
Level ball is so
Is
good.
like
Oh
the
my
next
god.
one. If we could play
1-5.
5 or 6 if I could play 5 or 6 of these, just like Dean played 5 trainers meals this weekend, then I'd be a happy guy. This is funny. Oh, sorry. If you guys think Gene cheated, he didn't. All right, he mistakenly wrote 5 trainers meals on his deck list and got a game loss for it. And we love you, Dean. It's just funny as shit. All right, so people are sending me lists with like 4 Ultra Ball, and my god, it hurts my eyes to like look at that stuff. I was like, dude, every card in this deck is a resource. It provides win conditions, and it gets you either early game or mid game progression. And people are like, well, you can discard like the extra bridges you have, or like this and that. And I don't think they realize how often you'll end up bridgeting post Super Rod or like turn 5 or 6 after you've had combos set up, and you really don't need anything else in your deck other than more Ralts that just got knocked out, or like a Gallade line got knocked out, or like to get a second Remoraid online, just even for 1 poke, like you get a Jirachi.
Yeah.
And that provides you your 130 for the turn, the support you needed to get Sensitive Blade off. So 4 level ball broken. Yeah.
There's
Level
never
ball just
games where you're like,
everything-
I'll just discard this hand. It's so good. It's so
Yeah. So 4 rare candy, because you don't need 3, because you need 4. Bless you, Mom. Alright, Jesus. 1 Sacred Ash, which I dropped from the list, and I don't know if you guys played it the following couple weeks.
I playing it the next week because I still had 3 Gallade, not 4.
The struggle. I like it. Like I still considered playing 1, if not a second Super Rod, because there were a couple times when I felt like a Sacred Ash and forcing my opponent to a 6 Gallade game would be really, really good. Or like times when I prized 2 Gallade and the first one got knocked out before I ever did anything with it, just because of like a well-timed Zerosic for my opponent on a Focus Ash or something. But then I'd end up like Lysandering up Shaman, take a knockout, and I got 2 Gallade off the prizes. And I was like, look at me being a sack, and then just proceeded to beat people with it. So the one isn't awful, but yeah.
Dan, didn't we convince you to go 2 Super Rod?
Yeah. No, it was 2 Super Rod, not Sacred Ash for New York City. Yeah, that's true. It was 2 Super Rod.
Yeah.
I remember talking to him like, yeah, I played 2 Super Rod. I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't force Gallade, so
Yeah.
that's how life goes.
So 1 Sacred Ash, 1 Super Rod. They went to 2 Super Rod. I think I dropped the Sacred Ash altogether and turned it into another Bridget in my build. The best card in the deck is Target Whistle. Hands down. So many surprise faces. So many pissed off people. Just anger in their eyes.
Yeah, that's your fault. Shouldn't have played it.
Yeah, it's their fault for needing to play Sycamore in your deck.
Yeah.
We don't need that. Who needs 7 cards? 5 is all we need.
Not me.
I was considering 2 Target Whistle when I first played the deck, and then it's not necessary. One's fine.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
We want the same thing, but Target Whistle's a dead card like every turn with the last one.
Yeah. Oh, against Christian, I Target Whistled I Target Whistled 2 of his Joltix on, or I think it was, 2 Joltix onto his bench, and he couldn't get the Feebas down, and so I went for a deck out against him. So I was like, Lysander, I was like, ooh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, you can do a lot of cute things. It provides a win condition for the deck. If you built the list and didn't play Target Whistle in it, reevaluate things. It swings a lot of matchups where you draw poorly in the beginning. Like if my opponent goes up 3 prizes to my 6 and I still don't have like a Gallade or Octillery online, I never feel like I'm out of it unless like the following turn they go up to like 4 and I still don't have a Gallade attacking. Because at a certain point, I went like Rare Candy, Gallade, Lysander, Shaman, knockout with the Focus Ash. And the following turn they couldn't take a knockout. Then I went like Lysander, their second Shaman, knockout, pass. And now we're even in prizes. And Target Whistle ends the game off of a Karina, or what we added into the deck was a Teammates. So
you're just never out of the game with like focus sash and all that. It's like
Yeah.
if you can set up, you're gonna have a chance, even if they take the first 2-3 prizes, something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Deck's fun. 30.
They're really that out, you know.
Yeah. There's always like comeback potential, and if you draw poorly, if you get your one Gallade online, Premonition turns your poor hand into a really, really good one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the next part is 3 trainers mail. You can play 4. I feel like it's not needed. I really like 3, mainly because I'd rather have a tech spot. I'd rather have the target whistle over the trainers mail. I'd rather have another float stone or another escape rope over the third one.
The only reason I was considering the 4th trainers mail was try to reach for that turn 1 Bridget a little more, but
Yeah.
it's a little insignificant the amount of times that you'll hit that trainer's mail and then hit the Bridget, you know.
Yeah, there's actually a trick I started doing to consider playing the 4th copy of certain cards, and I've taken like an extra trainer's mail, put it into the deck, and then flipped it upside down and test drew 10 hands and see how many times that upside down trainer's mail actually mattered, because you'll have to tell the difference between that and the other 3, and at a certain point it was just completely unnecessary. So 3's perfect. It helps shuffle the deck. When you premonition and you know nothing's coming, like you premonition and you're really fishing for a DCE and then you see nothing and you're like, oh, I have to use Abyss Draw for no reason. So you like trainer's mail, try to shuffle the deck, and then Abyss Draw on a prayer or something.
And a lot of times you'll have like 2-3 Gallade up, so like you could premonition, and if it's not there, just don't use your Abyss Draw, level ball or something to shuffle the deck.
Yeah, and then trainers will, and then second premonition. How many times have you guys had judges called on you for like which premonition? I tap my Gallade, right? And then look at my opponent and say premonition, and then sometimes in the like as the like long turns progress, they're like, so you use your Abyss hand and your 2 premonition. And I was like, no, I've used Abyss hand and 1 premonition, now the second one's coming. And they're like, really? And I was like, yes, I know, I haven't picked up 10 cards from my deck and like reorganized it. I was like, I did this 5 and did this and did 5, so
Our friend Corey, she had counters for each Gallade. So she would put a counter on Gallade after using Premonition. So like her opponent would know and she would know. I think it's the best idea.
that's not that bad.
Like, all right, I use Premonition, boom, counter. I use Abyssal Hand, counter. Now you know that I use it.
Yeah, I've seen people do that, but they put it like on the mat in the middle of play. Similar to like people remind themselves that they played a supporter, but yeah. You guys have an Ultra Ball on your list alongside the 4 level ball in the original list, which I thought was perfect just because you can discard cloggy supporters or cloggy rare candies when you already use like a Curlia to establish a line and stuff when you really need to fish for DCE and energy. Yeah. In my list, I went down to 3 level ball and the 4th Ultra Ball because I really wanted another Bridget and a teammates added in. But do you guys feel like you'd still keep the 4-1 with the level Ultra?
It's really a personal play preference.
Yeah.
I did 4 level, 1 Ultra Ball again this weekend. I just level ball. I couldn't see myself ever cutting one of those. They're just too good early game. And then the 1 Ultra Ball is really clutch. A lot of times it just serves as a 5th level ball, but
yeah,
there are times when you need it to get cards out of your hand to make sure you're able to Abyss Draw.
If we're being real here, we just wish we could be a 5th level ball. Honestly, that would be golden.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Like I said, the only reason I fit the Ultra Ball and then not the 4th level ball this weekend is because I expected myself to clog since I went up to 3 Bridget and I also played a Hex Maniac. Just because there's a lot of bats in our area at the time, and I was like, oh, if I just Hex you, or I saw like 2 Vile Plume decks when everyone was sitting around writing lists, and I was like, I'm not taking an auto loss of that garbage. Like, I'm gonna premonition to a Hex and body kids. So that was the goal from there. 4 VS Seeker because. Yeah, I don't know how Eric did it in his Zoro puff, but he's a champion. You guys originally had 2 Bridget. When I won my first weekend, I played 1 Bridget, but I think it's because I sacked the crap out of everybody. And I just opened that Bridget. It loved me. It wasn't even full art. It was just standard, and it kept coming back to me. And then the next day when I top 4'd, I think I threw the second one back in the list. And then this weekend when I won, I went up to 3. So I think there's a progression of like luck starting to fade away there, and then I really need to start playing more consistent lists.
I mean, 3 Bridget makes sense if you're playing Ultra Ball. If you're not playing Ultra Ball, 3 Bridget doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say, if you open Bridget, you win the game. I think 55-1 or 55-2. I think I opened Bridget twice and lost the game. Both times against Carter Copeland when he like kicked my face in with Entei Charizard. So.
You Finnegan
Yeah, I
coin.
think
Yeah, no, the one time was Finnegan coin. The other time was just, good God, my hand was bad. There's no level ball. Oh, where were you? 5th level ball.
Yeah, I think I lost for the first time this weekend when I opened Bridget, but the dude he hit like an enhanced hammer at the most beautiful moment, and then I whiffed DCE after DCE after DCE from there.
Yeah.
I was premonitioning like 3 times, shuffling my deck, and just no DCE would show up. I was like,
Yeah, that's really frustrating. I don't know how Nightmarch players do it.
I don't even know.
I really don't. Like every turn without fail, I feel like they go DCE Sycamore. Or if they don't Sycamore that turn, they had it anyway. Like I was like, how many cards in hand? 3. Okay, he has to have DCE, VS Seeker, and the Joltik. And then he's just like, I'll go Sycamore into DCE and the Joltik and a Megaphone to get rid of the Sash. I was like, what the fucking... What is this world? You're playing Nightmarch. You're supposed to have the bad karma. This isn't me. Like, this isn't right.
Against Nightmarch and Entei, if you just don't run hot, they just hit you like continually. You just flat out lose.
Yeah. Did your guys' area play catcher, or are they going for the scoop up variant?
And Entei variants play catcher.
Okay, like the ones in your guys' area. There's a few here that don't play catcher. But I think the better build does play catcher, just because.
Entei has to play down Shamans at some point. Like at some point, you gotta put down
Yeah.
Shaman, and that changes everything.
So true.
Yeah, a lot of them misplay and then just leave the Shaman on the bench, and then they get target whistled out of the game, which is really, really
If I
fun.
send your Shaman into a Focus Sash Gallade, Entei isn't having a good time.
Yeah,
That's exactly how Russ beat it. Just took all 6 prizes off Shamans.
Yeah,
that was fun.
I'm cool not knocking out an Entei. Same thing as Skeptile. Like I know I'm never gonna knock out a Skeptile. Like I'll just Lysander around it. You got
Yeah.
some down there.
I think I played against one Sceptile once, and I judged it turn 2, and then he never got an attack off. And it was just streaming 130s in his mouth. I was like, yes. Did you guys keep the Giovanni scheme for the next couple games, or did you drop it?
I ended up dropping it cities number 2 and kept it cities number 3.
All right, just because you expected more Yveltal?
yeah.
Hey, 'cause I heard when I went to New York, they're like, yo, it's all Nightmarch, bro. It's all Nightmarch. I'm like, yeah, I don't need Giovanni's then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played it in New Jersey this weekend, and I didn't play it because I didn't think Evil Tall was going to be huge. I actually kind of regret it because I saw a lot of bats, and I kept missing the knockout on Crobats.
Mm.
But going back to Ohio and Pittsburgh area, I feel like we're just going to see Evil Tall everywhere, and you really want it just to smack those baby Evil Talls in the face.
If you had to pick between the two with the Muscle Band and Giovanni scheme, would you stay with the Muscle Band, or would you just go ahead and push 2? Like you keep both, just so you could have like because the Karina play is what I'm expecting. Like if someone gets smart and starts attacking with Crobat, and then you just bring up Karina Muscle Band and knock it out.
Yeah, I had the Muscle Band this weekend. I would like attach it to a Gallade early because I had to like get it out of my hands.
Yeah, you need the Bistro.
And then that Gallade wouldn't be active. I had no way to retreat it. You know.
The thing about bats though is the only bats variant that doesn't play Shaman is Lucario. Like if you're playing bats, you gotta hit Shaman because like if they have 3 Crobats, it's almost impossible. Crobat eats Gallade.
Yeah, I also found at a certain point, like if they dumpster like Golbat, then Crobat on you, and they have no way to like get to their AZ or pick up said Crobats on board, you can like make a ridiculous comeback against them.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people are playing Golbat and Crobat against this deck.
People play Golbat and Crobats when they don't need them. Like you only should Crobat when you need the damage. People just play it just to play it. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, that happens a lot too. I've seen them focus down Jirachi instead of Gallade just because it was like Raichu bats or Lucario bats, and they really want to play down their DCE and strong. And I was like, this Jirachi's a bait. There's a reason why I got it. Like this is here just to mess with your brain. This isn't.
It's
Like,
like
they
the
do
den
anything.
when you're. It's like the den when you're playing against Evil Tall. Like you know it's on the bench. Like you gotta worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not ever gonna attack with it realistically. Like just there hanging out.
Yeah, there's one time I think I Bridgeted Jirachi turn 1 against the Totina, and when I look with Bridget, I prize 4 fighting energy, and I was like, oh shit, this is gonna go. I was like, whatever, he's going on the bench. He's gonna put strike fear in the man's heart.
He's like, oh, he's a Jirachi. He might have a second Jirachi. Oh man, like come on.
All right, so keep the Giovanni's and Muscle Band if you expect a lot of Yveltal and Crobat in your area. If you don't, drop it for more consistency cards. 2 Judge is perfect in this deck. I went down to 1, so I wouldn't say it's always perfect, but I'm weird, and I really wanted to play, I think, a Teammates. It was Teammates or Hex. Those are the 2 extra supporters I dropped out, Giovanni Scheme and Judge for. And I was thinking about Teammates all weekend, and then I messaged Fred during the week, and he was like, yo, Dan's hyping up Teammates. And I was like, good. I like him. I like that idea. And, yeah, Teammates single-handedly won me this cities, without a doubt. Like, I Teammates turn 1 against Totina to grab an Enhanced Hammer, and I think the rare candy I needed when he dropped down Giratina against me. So I was like, oh, hey, Teammates. I'll enhance away the Dragon's Energy and then Candy and Gallade and attach a Fighting and pass. And then he lost the game from there. So, yeah. Card's really, really good. I think it was on top of my head when I saw the Rainbow Road Galurk list play the 2 Teammates in it. And I was like, whoa, if he can fit that in that, we can definitely fit Teammates in this without a doubt, at least 1.
Teammates in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
What?
Mm-hmm. 2 Teammates, 1 Super Rod, 1 Sacred Ash, and I think 2 Teammates is really, really good in that deck because he doesn't have Karina as access to anything.
That's true, yeah.
And since you play so many stage 1s, if you sit on dead stage 1s in your hand, you bridge it, and then you play the stage 1s. Those are like free Abyss hand draws, and then you take a knockout, and the Teammates get you that DCE if you missed it, plus whatever element you might be missing that just got taken off the bench. So like if they last standard up a Bronzong and knocked it out, and you bring up your Xerneas, then your Teammates can go get yourself a Bronzor and the DC attached, and then go from there off Smeargle. And yeah, that was a lot of cute plays that the deck was able to mount. But we're ranting off into like the Rainbow Mario Kart area. We need to talk about this. So 2 Judge, if you're God handing your opponent and you went turn 1 Bridget, turn 2 Rare Candy Gallade plus a level ball into an Octillery, then Judge. Oh god, I think I did like at least 10 to 15 times throughout like this couple of cities, and I think those were games where it wasn't even close. It was a landslide in matchups that I already considered favorable. Similar to how Mewtwo decks like in Mewtwo and Color Rayquaza decks that just speed and then judge your opponent, and then if your opponent's somewhat like bad, then they get to run away with the game with a lot of pressure. I feel like the deck provides the same thing. And it also refreshes your hand, like Dan said earlier in our conversation. That it can refresh your dead hand if you're sitting on like multiple rare candies, but you have all Ralts already evolved, that kind of thing. So yeah, Judge, good card. And our deck's not susceptible to Silent Lab. So
Yeah.
some people have gone like, oh, Judge Silent Lab. But I was like, oh, do you think this is kind of deck? I don't play Shaman.
Yo, Silent Lab stop that Shaman though.
Yeah.
No Shaman Lab's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Silent Lab was definitely something we highly debated, including. I think at one point we actually had 3 Silent Lab in there because we played against Wobbuffet, and Wobbuffet just kills you.
Yeah.
It, like shuts off Premonition, shuts off Abyssal Hand, hits you for weakness. You're like, damn.
But it doesn't beat anything else. That's what sucks about cities, because people are willing to play like Wobbats.
Yeah.
But then it takes an L to so many matchups that you're just like, oh, why is he even here? Why is he X1 right now, round 5? This is stupid.
And then Fred was like, yo, you should just play you should just cut the Silent Lab. You want people to play down Shaman. You want to encourage Shaman usage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, if you play Silent Lab and then they're like, oh, I'm gonna hold my Shaman, and then for some reason they're playing like 3 Birch, and they never have to discard it, and so you can target whistle them.
Yeah, go ahead and put down your 2 Shaman. Like, yeah, go ahead and set up. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. So before we go into stadiums, for Karina, I went down to 3 because I felt it clogged. sometimes, like at Abyss Draw, and then or Abyss Hand, and get like 2 Karina stuck in my hand, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't advance my game state if I already have a Gallade set up and I don't have a Ralts down. All it does is get me a level ball, which felt very, very mediocre for supporters.
There's a lot of times where you just like you'll have the Gallades in your hand, or you'll have them all set up, and you're just playing Karina, and you're not even grabbing a Gallade.
Yeah.
I think 4 is just it's so great early game just to set up like that rare candy Gallade is beautiful turn 2 or 3 or whatever, but I could definitely see cutting one of them, I guess.
Yeah. Dan, did you stick with 4?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Y'all angry. Y'all angry. You so many 4-ups, 4 level balls, 4 Karinas and stuff.
I usually have a bunch of Ralts down. I'm like, all right, Karina turn 2, 3, and 4. Like, yeah, you're gonna see 3 Gallade on board. That's just the way I play it. I just try to hit Karina every turn. Those first couple of turns.
Yeah.
People get so stressed out. They're like, oh my god, he has 3 Gallade. Like, I don't know how to deal with this. And you start making misplays. Then once you put down that second chain, it's all downhill for you from there. Like, game's already sealed.
Yeah. So, 4 is really good. 3 is really good. Personal preference, in my opinion. Just how crazy are you about like getting the setup and hitting turn 2 Gallades? The last supporter, Lysander. It's 2 or die in any deck.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hate playing 1 because you prize the 1 and your opponents can run away with games for.
The only thing we considered was putting in a 3rd, and I definitely had a 3rd in there on one of my lists. It's just
That's angry. It's so angry.
But I'd be like bragging about Lysandering stuff up, and then like the next hand I'd draw my opening hand and I'd just have Lysander and no other supporter, and I'd be like, well,
wow. if
that was something to draw cards, maybe it'd be a little better.
Yeah.
You hit 3 Lysander, no VS Seeker, your opponent is just probably gonna just never play again. That's so aggravating. Like, why do you play 3 Lysander? Like, you're bad.
People got mad enough at me for playing
like,
2. Just because Lysander stall people.
I played fan at Fort Wayne, and I played against this guy who was playing 4 Lysander. I was so mad about it. I was like,
how many?
You just
He's played
counter
4.
my deck.
He's played 4. What were you playing?
I was playing Dom fan.
Oh no, sorry. What was your opponent playing?
Oh, he was playing Gengar Walls.
Oh, was that the dude who got the prize penalty?
He had a Mega Gengar in there, and he like in the middle of one of the games, I just look over and he's got like 6 different piles laid out. His deck's facing the wrong way up. I was just like, I gotta call a judge. We went through it all, and after a while, it made sense. He was kind of like he was trying to do too many things at once, but after that, he just got flustered, and like it came to a point where I had to speed play because I lost round 1.
Yeah.
And I was like playing as fast as I could. I was like, play faster, play faster, play faster. One like maybe with like a minute left, pulled out the win.
Nice.
It was
Damn.
tense.
So yeah, people sending me lists with 1 Lysander. In those lists, they also played Strong and Fighting Stadium and stuff. So I think they were just expecting to one-shot their opponents. That's not how you need to play the deck. It's really not. A defensive approach, so like slow and steady. You don't play a Shaman. Your opponent has to take 6 prizes. Is like a perfect mindset.
Of Gallade, to be honest with you,
yeah.
We had the offensive version. We didn't think it was good enough. Our friend Alex was like, play the defensive version. That was really the turning point that really made it what it is. Because once you make it defensive and consistent, you're like, all right, this can win the best of 1 setting. Like, offensive Gallade can't win in best of 1. It just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one night after League where we got a ride home with Alex and Chris Demko. I think Corey might have been in the car too, and we just spent like maybe a half-hour car ride just talking all through Gallade, and that was the point where it kind of went from just an idea that might be a cute deck, could win some games, to a deck that like we could really genuinely play and win the cities with. You know?
Yeah, competitively. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like most stage 2 decks take that kind of like 2 or 3 month evolution in the same format, even though like not much changes. You know what I'm saying? Like you go from like playing this list. I had 1 Bridget, and then you're like, I don't know how you got by 1 Bridget, and then I was like, I don't know why either. So I'm gonna go 2, and then once I play 2, I was like, I really want a 3rd, and the deck just starts developing from there. Yeah.
I was talking to Fred about this. I think there's like a 50-card list you have to play. And then the last 10 cards or whatever. But like if you're not playing like 4 Karina, 3 Karina at least, 4 level ball, 4 2 4 1 4 4 2 4 Gallade, you're not really playing the deck. Like,
yeah. Definitely. The 4th Gallade was juicy. Having the 4 attackers there and everything.
When I put the fourth Gallade, I was really happy.
Yeah.
Helps to have one.
Oh, all right. So the next card is the clutches card. I wouldn't call it the game winner, but it's the game changer for sure. It's the 3 focus sash in the deck. Godly.
It's how you win
So
matchups.
bad.
It forces so many misplays from opponents that, dang, like, I don't know what it is about focus sash that scares the living crap out of like your opponent. Like I guess the fact that they can't hit it, like can't one shot it, scares them into just playing really, really badly. Like I've had a point where I was like, if I don't draw my second like Gallade, or if I don't get to a Via Seeker for another candy and set like a second or third Gallade up, I'm gonna lose this game just because he's gonna poke and then kill the Gallade the following turn. And they see the sash and go, I'll Lysander Octillery, and then like hit Octillery for the knockout or something like that. And I was like, all right, nothing changed. You kept the same game state, and you can bring up Gallade again with a focus sash. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can't just avoid it.
So.
People don't understand that, like, it's a Lysander. When you Lysander Shaman into a focus sash, people are just, like, so mentally stressed. They're like, oh my god, I'm down 2 prizes, I can't get a knockout, I don't know what to do. Like,
yeah, that's what I've seen a lot. A lot of misplays against this deck. The one muscle band we already went over a lot when we were discussing Yveltal and Giovanni's scheme. You play it if you expect Crobat and Yveltal.
One thing I wanted to say about that is it actually opens a cute play that Dan pulled off in top 4 where you can attach a muscle band, play the Giovanni's, and hit 170. He actually one-shotted a Giratina for the win. You can one-shot like some other stuff.
Oh, that's dirty. What the heck?
yeah, dude was like, it was like a little kid from our local league. He's like, yo, you hit 170. I'm like, yeah, I had to do it. Like,
Easy peasy.
You know how it goes.
Did he attach the that turn? Like he attached the DDE and then pass, and you're just like.
When I hit that was game. He had 1 prize on the board. I had 2, and he's like, "There's no way Daniel knocks me out." Oh, Giovanni's. Oh, yeah, that's game.
Good. 4 DCE, 100. Like that's not even. We don't need to discuss that. And then 5 fighting energy, again because we don't need strong. I've seen some people talk to me about going down to 4.
No.
Nah, 5's fine. I usually end up prizing 1 the entire game, and you need 2 to resolve a Gallade attack. And it does a lot for flying press and stuff.
We originally actually had a whole lot more energy, and I forget who I talked to, but someone convinced me that it just wasn't worth it. I think I was actually like Brandon Smiley was streaming, and I was messaging.
Yeah.
Oh, Smiley was streaming the Texas boys.
Yeah. So I messaged him, talked about the list a little bit. He was saying that we had way too much energy in it.
Yeah.
So we went down to 5 energy, and I think that's a perfect number.
He messaged me this weekend. Same thing. Like I went with it, and he's like, "Are you kidding me? Can you send a list again?" I was like, "Sure, dog."
He's an idiot because I sent him the list like months ago.
Yeah.
He should have paid it.
He has it.
Yeah. When he was playing with it on stream, but I guess he wants the most updated one. I know he was like Flowstone's good, and he wanted to discuss the stadium. So that's why I wanted to save it at the end. He was like, why not one Silent Lab? And that's when, I mean, like, Dan and Fred, you guys basically already said you want to encourage Shaman play. And controlling their Shaman doesn't matter to you. If anything, you wanted to hit the board, draw your 4, enjoy yourself, you lost.
Like, if you pay $50 for a card, like, you should be able to use it. Like, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
ahead.
please. By all means. Go crazy.
Lord Shaman, like, do what you gotta do, bro. Like, I'm fine with that.
The one benefit I see from it is just shutting off Wobbuffet. And I don't really see many people playing that card.
If you're in a meta where all you see is Wobbuffet bats, then yeah, put your second Silent Lab. If you don't see Wobbuffet bats, aka a normal meta, you don't really need Silent Lab.
Yeah, and don't play this deck if you see Wobbuffet bats. don't run in there. Don't bring a little knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
When you know you're gonna have problems. So, the second thing was Parallel City. So he was saying if they parallel you to 3, you might be in a world of hurt. And I've had almost every single opponent this weekend played 1 Parallel City, and at no point did I ever feel like I got hindered by it.
You have a Gallade active, Gallade on the bench, 1 Octillery, 1 tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I was playing against my friend Audubon. He was playing his Turbo Tina list, with Parallel City, and he'd lock it in. It didn't really matter because I didn't have a counter stadium.
Yeah.
But just being able to bench something to get it out of my hand to be able to abyssal draw, because my hand was actually clumping with like basic Pokemon Ralts or whatever.
Okay.
It was actually a big difference in the game. So that was a point where I considered a stadium, but at the same time I was kind of like, well, he's chaos wheeling me anyway, so.
Yeah, so even if you had the counter stadium, it didn't really matter.
No,
Exactly.
helps you enough to validate a spot over, like, let's say, Sylvain Giovanni's.
Yeah. At a certain point, some people got cute and realized that they don't even need a Parallel City meet a 3. They just put themselves a 3, and then and clear all their Shaman. And then when that happened, I like took 2 knockouts, like a knockout on EX, a knockout on 2 non-EXs. Then they got Target Whistle, Lysander, Shaman, the one on the bench, and their world went downhill. So I did that to this pretty decent Yveltal Gallade player this weekend. I'm pretty sure he used to play Yu-Gi-Oh because every single card in his deck was full art. And he said no response sometimes when I played cards down, so it was pretty funny. Fighting Stadium you don't need, because what are you gonna perfect numbers anyway outside of Yveltal EX? There's not
perfect
much
numbers anymore, you know.
Yeah.
There's too many megas, too many people playing Vesperquen, non-EXs. You can't really try to hit 180 like you used to a couple formats ago.
Yeah. And there's no stadium that really hurts us outside of the Parallel City in very, how do I say, like awkward situations, like awkward hand moments. Like you said, when you had a bunch of basics in your hand, and so like that means you didn't bridge it turn 1, you know, or like your bridge it, or he got down Parallel City before you started bridging, that kind of thing. And so I feel like it's not necessary.
Because he was also playing Giratina, I wanted to put my Jirachi down on the bench because it was a big card, and that's just another bench space to the point where when you're kind of limited to 2 bench spots, it could be troublesome.
But if you know Parallel City is coming, it's easy to tell when it's coming. Just play your bench accordingly, and it's easy to adjust to.
Yeah, definitely. Holy crap, we're running on 41 minutes for this deck discussion. I guess that's how much we all like this deck.
Yeah,
it's really fun. Like Chris barely contributed to the conversation, but he played the deck and he's just like, I love it. I'm here.
I want to take time away from the people who made
the people who made it. No, I understand. I'm not bashing you on it. It's just funny.
Like,
I'm just like
there.
there's so much talking. It was funny.
It's fun. What
am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
It's a couple of people, but it's pretty innovative, and people just didn't expect it. It's fun when people look at you like I had a dude next to me round 5. One of my cities like, yo, this is so cool. Like this is like, you're not playing the X's. Like I've never seen this before, and it's cool that you're winning with it. It's healthy for the format.
It definitely broke my mindset and like my mold on standard to needing Shaman and all this other stuff to like get decks to run consistently. So I think like seeing how many times I made a comeback with this deck against people that played 2 or 3 Shaman in their list. When I had like a bad draw to their God start, you know, they went like empty their hand, Ultra Ball, Shaman, then empty their hand again to another Ultra Ball, Shaman, and then Sycamore. And they're like, I got full sep, and I was like, all right, you're not gonna lose this. I have 3 Pokemon.
If you don't play 2 or 3 Shaman in your deck, it's not good, and like it's just a bad mindset in standard. And when you start building out of it, people are like, this actually works. Like maybe it's not crazy.
It's just a very untraditional engine. Like nowadays, people are building decks, and the first thing they do, they're like, all right, toss in 4 Sycamore, toss in 4 Ultra Ball, put in 2 Shaman.
Yeah.
But really, this list it has to be run differently. So when you're building it, it took a decent amount of work to start from scratch and figure out, max out Level Ball, let's play Karina, let's not go with any Sycamore. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love the deck. It's definitely the best deck I've played in Standard yet. In terms of fun, and and I think when I went on Squeaky's discussion with like city marathons and results and all that, I was like, I think this deck is top 5 in the format. And after playing with it so much, I stand by that statement. I think it's ridiculous. And then people are like, you need the right metagame and this and that, and I was like, well, like what kind of metagame wouldn't you want to play this in unless you see like really really teched out Night March decks that have like Zerosic and Megaphone and they're like drawing really really hot against you, and then you have to be drawing someone mediocre in order to stay behind because they're playing Shaman and you're not, and that makes a world of a difference when you're swinging mid game and you go down to like 2 prizes to their 3 and they still have to take out 3 knockouts on your Pokemon instead of like a Shaman And then they played their own target whistle in some lists, and that's not going to help them at any point against this deck. So
I think the best part is like it's like you put down a full art chain that's $50. That's more than my whole deck, and it just costs you to lose. Like, thanks. Like, like you can realistically build Gallade Octillery for like $40. Right?
yeah,
It's not expensive.
So true.
yeah. The thing I had a problem with is I can't find Gallades. Like, it was tough to find people who were getting off Gallades or actually pulling Gallades
Gallades are the most expensive.
off of like Black One. Yeah.
I think we got really lucky where that first cities where we both played 3 Gallade because we didn't have enough. Like, immediately after it, I opened my packs for top 8 and just pulled like 2 Gallades straight out of that, and we're like, all right, now we're gonna bump it up to 4.
Because
Yeah.
Breakthrough came out in our store, and I'm like, yo, Fred, we gotta get these Gallades. Like, we gotta get them. They were like $1 at the time. I'm like, yeah, we'll just buy all of them.
No, that first pre-release, there was nothing you wanted from the packs except Octillery. I remember that.
I was like, yo, Octillery is gonna be so good. Someone's gonna make it good.
Yeah, I think I hyped up Octillery, Zoroark, Gallade, and Raikou to Chris and like the entire squad. And I was like, yo, Zoroark's gonna be a lot more expensive than what everyone's ever leading on to be. So I went on like pre-sales, I just hit everyone up. I was like, how many Zoroarks do you have? They're like, oh, I can do like 4 for $3 a piece or a playset for 10. I was like, I'll take 3 playsets. And they realized they only have like one playset left over or some stuff like that. So
Zoroark it's the best card to come out of Breakthrough. There's no doubt in my mind.
I agree with that. I think it's really balanced too. Wait, never mind. I think Mind Jack for plus 30 for each one is ridiculous. That is, if it was 20 balanced, 30, get the hell out of here. It's so hard.
I don't like Mega Ray, and Zoroark just killed Mega Ray. I just don't like that deck. And like Mega Ray, like you can do all you want. But you flip 2 Zoroarks over, that's game. Like go home.
Yeah.
It was almost like they were just like, Yveltal has no way to beat Mega Ray. Let's just give him Zoroark. Screw it. Let's even the matchup. We want Yveltal to be the best deck in the format.
Yeah. And then they also got Gallade. Like they got everything.
Yeah.
Like Yveltal got hooked
absolutely
up
count.
this set.
Like, oh, Nestor beats you? Oh yeah, put in Gallade.
Yeah.
Nestor doesn't beat you anymore.
Easy peasy. Oh, in Expanded you can play both Gallade and Archeops. So you pick your opponent's poison. See what you want to slap him in the face with today.
That's why I don't want to play Expanded. I was talking to Fred about this today. There's really only you got 6 decks that are good, then you got 3 or 4 decks that are okay.
Yeah.
That's like 70% of the meta, right? That's the math we did today.
Yeah.
70%, something like that, something crazy like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Getting a little
this deck sucks and Expanded. So
Oh my
no
God.
one play this deck. Don't even ask me that question.
I tried
Don't even
so
think
hard.
it. This is complete booty in Expanded.
Lasers hurt you, Toad hurts, like everything. You just lose to everything.
I think Vespial trades you easily. You have to red candy your shit. They don't. They just do it
Like-
manual.
Like it's cool, it's good in Standard. And Expanded, like go play a meta deck. Go play something that's good. Don't play Gallade. Just don't.
Yeah.
Every deck is so fast and expanded that you just like can't keep up.
You can play Archie Stories round 1, and they're just gonna take 2 cards off of Articuno. You're just gonna want to cry. Like that's what's gonna happen. It's wrong.
All right. I think we're about to end it soon. Do you guys have any final thoughts, Daniel?
I think as last thing I want to say is just like people should be encouraged to not use Shaman. The Shaman's not the end all be all, and there's more like there's like the tip of the iceberg. I think there's so many more decks out there people just haven't thought of yet. Like
I agree. Like Rainbow Road in Standard. Yeah.
yeah, like Rainbow is another example. Zoroark, Slurpluff, like you can play without Shaman and still be good.
Yeah. Only because of Bridget. Bridget's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
hope and savior.
OP.
All right, Fred.
Yeah, basically similar to what Dan said. Just be creative. I mean, you saw like that Vesperquin Vileplume list that Wambolt cooked up. Like there's.
Oh, that
some-
deck's
there's
insulting
some
though. That deck hurts my brain.
I don't know how he pulled it off. Like, you play 4 DCE and 4 attackers. Like, yeah, you got the Bumblebee, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever be able to pull it off.
You play turns 1 through 3 perfectly, and that's really what I've seen people misplay at. Like they make their Vileplume before they get a Floatstone, and then they lose to Lysander, and then they're like, "Oh, this deck sucks." I was like, "No, you suck. Don't do that. Like, you don't need a Vileplume turn 1 instantly. You can just do it whenever it's convenient once it gets there." So that's one.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, also we gotta shout out, we gotta thank everybody. We gotta thank Chris. We gotta thank Chris and Alex for really giving us the Gallades. Like we wouldn't have Gallades without them.
Oh, what's their last names? Do you know them? Their last name?
Yeah, Chris Demko and Alex Demko. Like it's a senior and a polka dad. The
Okay.
senior's pretty good, and like first of all, they gave us the Gallades to play. We wouldn't even play without them. Second of all, they drive all events, and third thing, like they suggested go to hit, so they really like made a difference, and we gotta thank them.
Beast.
Yeah.
All right, Chris.
Definitely shout out to Corey James too. She's just always helpful whenever you need it. You know. I remember like my first regional going to Lancaster. I was playing Vespercoin Flareon without Shaman at a league challenge.
What?
I won the league challenge, and I was talking to Corey James about like how I can mess around with the list. She's like, "Well, you should play Shaman." I was like, "Yeah, I don't have any." She's like, "Here, just borrow mine." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. You don't even really know me that much. You'll give me a $40 card." It seemed like pretty cool.
Post community, man, full of nice people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Porco. Anything?
Yo, I just want to say thanks to Fred and Daniel for like one of the best decks I've ever played. It's like it was just so fun and refreshing to see this shit, and it's just thanks. That's basically why I wanted to be on this.
Yeah. Chris was like, "Yo, can I join on the call?" Because I was like, "This deck's amazing," and I was like,
This deck's
"Yeah."
amazing, and I want to give credit where credit's due.
Oh my god, that amazing feeling when you have 3 premonitions and 2 abyss hand. What the?
And you're just like, I don't even need this stuff. Like, I'm just taking it to have it. Like, screw it. But yeah, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Glad you enjoyed it. Glad you got something out of it.
We're just happy like we just won with something out of the box. Like
Yeah, it's a good feel. It's a good feeling to do like really good with Rogue at times.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what I end up playing, and I usually end up like either sucking or going ham. It's like a huge depth curve. Holy crap, that was horrible wording. Oh my god. All right.
Spectrum.
Yeah, there you go. A good spectrum. All right, guys. The next list should be. Dang, what do I want to do? Listen, I think I was gonna do my own Mewtwo list. And something after that. But
Maybe Manectric Pyro.
enjoy your Final Cities weekend if you feel like playing this deck. The skill curve is somewhat high if you don't know what to make. If you don't have a god hand, I feel like there's a couple decisions that you can end up punting your entire game with. Especially against locked decks. But there's a solid 5 to 6 cards you can swap out to adapt to your meta. If you don't know what your meta is, play a deck without the scheme, band, and enhanced hammer. So yeah.
If you want to play this, you got to start testing it like now, especially with only one weekend left in cities.
Yes, definitely.
Don't give up on it game 1 when you draw a dead and don't know what to do. It's gonna take some time to learn it.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, and thank you guys for joining us, Fred and Daniel. And it's always good to see you, Chris. Thanks for logging in someone's PC, everybody.